afternoon, good evening. Once again, we are back with you. I hope you're everywhere connecting to us from Australia, United States, the Gulf region. Forget, we know the turmoil in the Gulf, but we know you are watching and we are grateful from the United Kingdom, Europe, everywhere, because this is where we bring you everybody to be able to speak to us, and to connect. And today, we have a very special lady. This one, she's always got a brand of Kenya all over. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Yes.
So introduce yourself.
So thank you so much, Halima, and it's great to be again in Dr. Langat's programs, but Kenya. When you guys first started, they actually called me to help you to push it out so that we could have our own Kenya diaspora media, as they call it. So I'm always very proud to be called to say something. So my name is Julliet Makhapila. Most of you know me as, some of you call me Madam President, others call me African Wonder Woman, but most of I'm a community change maker. I love to transform communities and also to voice out for the voiceless, voice out for the marginalized, underrepresented communities. And that's just a little bit about me. I also model, I also love to promote the youth and love to promote persons with disabilities. So most of the time, sitting down in the age, but also representing so many other hats in the community. I love to champion community development and to promote inclusion and diversity. And that is why I'm here. Women's rights is something that I do. Hence the reason I come here today.
Women being empowered to get into politics. How did you take up in the meeting with Ms. Makhapila today?
So thank you for that question. So women's rights is very important, not just in Kenya, but for me, women's rights, what I call 50-50 parliamentary positions in government, and especially across Africa. I feel we're still lagging behind when it comes to African politics. So I don't necessarily want to say Kenyan politics, but I want to say across Africa, but also in United Kingdom. I feel that the African, the Caribbeans, ladies and women, we need to be more proactive in politics. We need to be more involved here. As you know, elections is coming in United Kingdom. So I just want to say that as women, as youths, we need to be promoting for all of us in United Kingdom to go and vote. So we shouldn't just be proactive in the Kenyan politics, but we should actually be proactive where we live.
Where we are first.
Yes. So
charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home. But it's good to be here. And the other thing I want to...
I want to ask you first. So you've talked about all the championing you do, where you champion youth, you champion the tribe of women, 50-50 balance, where women are also
gender
engaged
balance.
in gender balance. So I want to ask this question candidly. So are you politically driven yourself?
Of course, I stood as the presidential candidate, and I was there was the last presidential election.
Elections in Kenya.
In Kenya, yes. I was the lady, Julliet Makhapila. You're speaking to her right here. So I was that lady. I was the presidential candidate. We were 18 of us, and when they were left 4, before the last one was kicked out, that was me. So I'm here standing with you. So I'm quite delighted to be here.
Let's take a pause right there. So you're there and you were wondering, who's this lady? Who's this lady on that ballot paper? Who's this Julliet? She's here. She's live with us.
Yes.
And so Julliet, tell us, as in you actually vied for president.
Yes, I did. I did, and actually I was in that. If elections, what I say in Kenya, for me, if people like today, you ask me, what should have happened in that ballot, in that Kenyan election? We should have been 18 candidates. There was 2 of us as women. So really, do we really have women's rights in Kenya? And that person is me. And because we are politically driven, I was standing on the seat of Republican Liberty Party. And guess what? The political party of Martha Karua is now PLP. And I was RLP, which is Republican Liberty Party. But she's now, from that Kenya, she's changed it. Yeah. So if we're talking about women's rights, I'm here because of a woman. Being a woman, I love to champion gender balance, and it is important to promote gender balance for everyone. And hence the reason a lot of you are asking me, why did I not speak today? Because it's her space, and I felt it's important to respect women and invest in women. And because she's written the book as well, I want her to know that I was here today.
Wow.
So that she knows that I came, but also not just because of that, but also we need good politics in Kenya. We need change, and not just change, we need transformation in Kenya. I saw you interviewing her, and civil rights, she's a civil rights activist as well. I'm a human rights advocate myself. So what I need to see is, if you come in, let's say Halima wanted to stand in Kenya, I don't, for me, I think I just need an entire program on perhaps on my own to ask me, Halima, what was my experience in that presidential
that whole process.
The whole process, because I can tell you that I saw a lot, and the political experience is interesting in Kenya. So
was it supportive to you as a woman, if I may just ask? Was it supportive tell us a little bit, what's the experience like? Just in case somebody there is saying 2022, I'm also going to be president. 2027, sorry about that.
So 2027, what I want to see is, personally, let me just make a political statement here. I don't want to see recycled politicians. I'm sick and tired of seeing politicians in Africa, and this, please, because it's political, I don't want to see the kind of the same old faces that we've seen. I think that has destroyed Africa. I think that it's time we give our youths, our young people, a chance. And I was the only person in the whole of Kenya who gave the vice president as a youth. The rest of the political parties did not do that. So I take greatness here today, speaking to you, Halima, that I championed the rights of the youth. I take great champion for suggesting to our Kenyan government, right the way to the whole of the political party, right the way politically. I thank God as well that I made it to the last 18, and I was that lady giving a chance and opening and paving way,
give you kudos for that.
Paving way for every diasporian in this outside the country,
giving
people hope as well.
And
so
that the process actually can work for us wherever you are, as long as you're Kenyan. Miss Martha Karua already spoke about it today. She says opportunities are meant to be for Kenyans, no matter where they are,
and
whether they're in the diaspora or they're in Kenya.
I don't want to say opportunity, I want to say accessibility, because there's a difference between opportunity and accessibility.
Okay.
So let's talk about accessibility for the youth who are over 18. Well, let's talk about accessibility for marginalized communities, underrepresented communities. Let's talk about accessibility for women who want to go home, for talented communities that are talented.
So there's opportunity and there's success. Because
So
opportunity is when it's been laid out there,
it's being said that is there.
Pick it.
But actually, if you go to Nation, I stood up and I actually said, and read it. You can Google it, by the way. I actually, the former, let me not mention names. I don't think it's fair. Thank you. So I actually spoke up for the diasporians, and I actually spoke up for the youth, and I actually spoke up for the rest of the Kenyan community who lack accessibility because of who you are. The doors are locked. The opportunity for filling in an application form is there. But actually, do you really have real equal accessibility in that? And the answer is no. Let me give you an example of things that happened. Do you know why I was locked out? Because of photocopying machines. We needed to produce a colored photocopy. Do you remember? There was photocopies of colored. Do you remember when they went to
when you have to make the photocopy? It has to be in color.
It had to be in colored. So if you read my story, I'm the lady who took this issue to government. So guys, I thank God I did it, because today in Kenya they removed change maker. I was a change maker.
Good.
They removed that clause because I said there was lack of accessibility for Kenyans, an average Kenyan. And I even actually said that it is government machineries that were used to actually, because who in the whole country could go and get photocopies. We produced the names of people who were supporting us. But did we actually get access to actually run in that ballot paper? And that is the question I'm setting here today. Would Martha Karua, if she wanted to run here today, would she be able to get the real chance as a woman, without good accessibility? So it's not about opportunity. Opportunity is about access, guys. Wow. So, and that's what I'm championing here today. That is why I'm here, because I want to talk about that a lot.
Thank you so much. As you have heard, it's always good to have every kind of conversation and to listen to everybody. When somebody comes out and say, I am championing or I'm on this cause for something, there is a drive to that cause. All you need to do is probably connect to that cause and find out that cause is it synonymous to the things I believe in. And today this is very powerful that she's been able to pick up to us and say, I tried. I was out of the last 16, 18?
No, it was 18. It was 17, 18 candidates. But out of that, there was 2 women. But one woman didn't have the numbers. So I was the only woman in that
to be strong enough to be able to actually put your name and say, I'm vying for the presidency of this great nation.
I wanted the top seat. Everybody, as a woman, many people thought I should run for women rep. Other people felt that I should whatever. But the question I posed to myself, for 15 years, many of you don't know, I had been praying. I have always led. But I thought to myself, why wait? What is it that we're waiting for? I felt that I was ready, and I always tell people, if you're 40 today, in 10 years' time, you'll be 50. If you're 50 today, in 10 years' time, you'll be 60. Mm-hmm. So if you're a young person, if you're a woman, or whatever, when people are telling you, oh, you know what, you have to start from the bottom. And why should you start from the bottom? Even if you're a young person, I've said to the youth here today, my vice president was 27 at the time. And I was the only political party in the whole of Kenya who gave a youth a chance, because politics is politics.
But that has changed now in Kenya.
And the question is, would that my youth that I selected have equal access? Yeah? Did I have enough confidence with the system to protect myself and to protect the young person? So when I talk about equal accessibility, what I'm talking about is safety, security. I'm talking about the welfare of the person. I'm talking about the equal opportunities and equal rights, as per se, to every citizen in Kenya. And this is the conversation. The conversation should change. And that is why I'm saying here, and that is why you see a lot of people say, oh, you didn't talk in the room. No, it was not my space to speak in that room. It was the space for Honorable Martha Karua to speak. But I've got my space here today. So here today, I'm talking to you, Halima, as Julliet Makhapila, as a change maker, but also saying to you that I'm speaking for women, but also the youth. And I'm voicing out for the voiceless.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I think you've all had it for yourself.
Yeah.
And we're really grateful.
Thank you.
I want you to take home that everybody can make a change.
Yes.
Everybody can do something worthy. Everybody can do something good, because by her taking on that big role, she actually made a change that is now applicable to all the ones. Everybody. No more photocopy issue like you had to face.
We hope so. Let's hope so, because the rules are.
But you had to take it to the highest office too.
I'm saying I was brave enough to say that is not something that is going to be applicable to the rest of the citizens. And I say that boldly. Wow. Did it cost me? Of course I was afraid. Of course I felt that there was lack of accessibility. Like I'm not going to say to you that I didn't feel there was lack of accessibility. And also let me briefly talk about the issues of accessibility when it comes to the platforms of they turn around and say, oh, you know what, all the radios and the media. In Africa, most of the medias are owned by somebody. So if you are 18 candidates, you only hear about the normal today people. You only hear about, the leaders that you see. So how does somebody, if you were to stand here today, Halima, how will people get to know that you are standing as a president?
When the media cannot give me coverage.
When the media is not giving you coverage. But it is in our constitution that all the presidential candidates should actually get
media
equal.
access.
They say
Equal
They
media
say, but
access.
do you really get? So why am I pushing that people should be disqualified? That's another story of the day. I'm pushing that in African politics. I'm not saying Kenyan politics. I'm saying in African politics, only the last 6 months should be the campaign. Anybody campaigning before that are breaking the election rules. Do you see people campaigning in UK here? You only hear, in Africa from when they were elected until the next whatever. They are still doing all kinds of things, Halima.
And everybody is so in turmoil of
Yes.
the election and never ending out of
And
it.
the worst bit is, most of them end up giving what I call, if you come in, those people, they are so like in their own little world, and unatuletea nini. When they say unatuletea nini, they mean how much money have you got to give them? That is corruption right from the start.
So corruption is with the people also, not
Yes,
just with
because
the
they are
leaders.
receiving.
They are the ones asking.
Yes.
Unatuletea nini.
Unatuletea
So
nini.
who's asking is the one who's actually
Both-
opening
both
the
sides,
door
both
for
sides.
it.
Yes, and that is why I say, when you go in there, the political aspect becomes very expensive, because how can you match? If I'm competing today and I'm competing with the president that is current today, right? Which is what happened,
Mhm.
right? I was in that political leadership with the current sitting president, right? I sat down there and I was in that seat as a woman, yeah? Call it what you want to call it, and in fact, let the media talk about it. That is why I sat here and said, let me talk to Halima today, right? Call it what you want to call it. So did real Kenyans, did those 18 candidates, those people who stood, did they all have a fair election? And sadly,
When you look at the
when you look at
pendulum of
the
difference.
pendulum of difference, and also how politics is played. And some of you will say yes, because they will say, oh, this is what happened. But where is the chairman here today?
Wow.
Yes.
Anyway,
where is
we are really grateful for your time today. I think you're a whole library of information.
Thank you.
And we'll probably look for some other time to be
Thank
able
you.
to speak with you. But thank you so much for coming to
Thank
us.
you.
Keep it TKDM,
Thank you.
social media, every one of them. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube, go to X, and you can visit us and find out about this powerful woman, Miss Julliet Makhapila, and she will tell you, as in, you have a Facebook page.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And for those who want to follow me, Julliet Makhapila, my Twitter page is Twitter is JNM1000, Juliet November Mikey 1000, but I'm a Facebook lady.
Good. Thank you so much. We really do not take you for granted. We are grateful that you're always there, tuning in and watching, and inspiring us also for next forward stories. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.